everybody, and welcome to 500 Open Tabs. I'm Kaveh Taherian.
And I'm Hannah Hillam.
We are your hosts. We figured it out.
We're both the hosts.
We're both the hosts.
Yeah.
Because equal rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yay. Oh, look at you. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am the son of a woman and the brother of a sister. And
the
I'm
bare
here.
minimum. Doing absolutely the bare minimum, and you know what? You deserve
Killing it. A
applause.
monument. Applause, yes.
Speaking
anyway.
Yeah.
What were you going to
Speaking
say?
of feminism, I was going to say, speaking of feminism, there's I've been told that there is a lot, there is a female tunnel digger.
Somebody else broke the dirt floor before you did.
Before me. Yeah.
Fortunately or unfortunately, we're not here to tear other people down, but I was kind of excited for you to be the person, honestly.
Yeah, me too. And then good for her. She's been terrorizing her neighbors, that are their quotes, and digging tunnels under her house and documenting it on TikTok. I don't know if I agree with her politically, but you know what? That's okay.
That's okay. We're here to talk about digging tunnels because we got to find the things that unite us, not the things that separate us.
When there's tunnels, there's no politics.
There's no politics. Just dig a tunnel into each other's hearts.
Yeah.
Sounds
like murder.
Does that sound weird? I guess that does. Or it could sound like bypass surgery.
Oh, true. Doctors.
They dig tunnels. That's what they do. There's little tiny babies.
They dig tiny tunnels. Oh, sick, dude.
Our fourth episode has already gone off the rails, but thank you guys for coming back to the show.
Yep.
It's very exciting now because I have to say, Hannah, it was really weird. The audience probably doesn't know this, but it was very weird for us to record 3 episodes in a bottle, like having no idea what they were going to be or if people like them and having to do it like multiple times. But I'm very, very happy. The response has been very positive.
It's been great. Yeah.
People are hyped. They're hyped. They're really excited. The people who are into it are like very into it is what I've noticed.
Yes. Oh, because it's people who get it. Because people who don't get it are like, why would you have more than 5 tabs open?
Yeah. Or why would you even do a show about tabs like our friend John? Shout out to John. We love you. That was
John,
the funniest
you're great,
thing
but
ever.
You did not grasp this at all. Love you, John.
But yes, the response has been good. People have been pouring in with submissions of tabs that they've closed or, comments on the videos and stuff. It's great. So keep it up, you guys. We're really happy about it. We're really excited to keep going. And it's motivated us to go even more insane if that was possible. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we're at peak.
Yet to be seen. I don't know if I can, but I have hope that I can go more insane. So
yet again, I have faith in you, Hannah. You might not have faith in your own insane abilities, but I believe we can go crazier. The whale stuff shocked a lot of people. Apparently, people were like, "What?" Yeah. Huh. That's that's like the thing that I got most that people kept talking to me about was just like, whales? What?
They can explode?
Yeah. No, the whale evolution part of everyone got a kick out of the whole coming up on land and going back into water thing.
That blew my mind too. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. What about you? Did you get like one specific thing that people were really...
I got a lot of people sharing things about tunnels and different tunnelers and almost perfectly, the real episode was released the day that they found that tunnel under that synagogue in New York.
Yeah, in New York.
Did you read about that?
Oh yeah, I was like, is this
Did I do this?
Yeah, I was like, Hannah, you manifested this.
They found a tunnel that had been slowly been digging. They had been digging under the synagogue into a different building for a while.
Yeah, I tried to read about it a little bit through Twitter, which was my mistake. And then it was like a bunch of insane anti-Semitic stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to wait till this dies down. So I will follow up on that at some point. But I thought all I saw was like there was a fight between cops.
Yeah.
And a bunch of the belief.
There was a fight between like the cops showed up and there was like a standoff. Not really a standoff, not violent, but they were like
people who were not the people who were digging necessarily, but I think the people who were involved with the synagogue somehow. I don't know. Again, maybe we should hold off on specific details until we know a little bit more. Yeah. But they were trying to pour concrete or something into it, or it got crazy.
They filled it.
They did fill it.
They did fill it, which is, I'm sure there was good reason, but like, come on.
Yeah. It's just let them have tunnels because they're fun.
I also got not a lot of flack, but someone did mention that I don't know how to do distances in England.
That's okay. I think I saw that too, but that person thought it was really fun, so they really enjoyed it, which is great. Yes.
So I wanted to check. I was like, oh, okay, well, how close was I? Because I was like, oh, it's like a 2-hour drive from what was it, Bristol to Devon?
Allegedly.
And I wasn't far off. It's only an hour and a half.
Oh, okay. It's only 30-minute difference. That's okay. You'll only be 30 minutes late, but you'll probably be like 4 hours late because you leave your house like an hour and a half later than you said you were going to. But
dragging me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's something we'll work on. We'll get better at
no, we
gauging
won't.
distances.
No, we won't.
Anyway, so thank you guys for coming back, and without further ado, let's get into it. I went first last week, so this week you have the floor.
It's my turn. So the tab I'm closing and covering and closing this week is
pouring concrete into it.
The tunnel I'm pouring concrete into this week is the island of Niihau, which is Niihau, and not that sounds like hello in Chinese.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds like Nihao.
I'm thinking Nihao, but it's not. Sorry, I don't know why I'm apologizing, but I opened this tab in November of 2022 when I was visiting. So that's how far this goes back. When I was visiting with the in-laws, my whole family, my husband's whole family, we all went to Hawaii, and we were staying on Kauai. And I was like, how many islands are there in Hawaii, the Hawaiian island? It turns out there's 132. But
oh, really? I didn't know there was that many.
I didn't either. But there's 8 main ones, 7 of which are inhabited.
Okay.
And as I was reading about them, I was going through the islands, and they all have these fun nicknames. So, like, for example, Kauai is the Garden Island. Maui is the Valley Island. And they all have, like, really pretty nicknames. Anyway, I get to the bottom of the list, and there's Niihau, and it says the Forbidden Island. Oh. And I was like, what?
Of course, we got to read about that.
Oh, yeah. So I opened the tab, and I never read about it.
Because it's forbidden. You just need to know that it's there.
Yeah. So I found it again when I was trying to figure out what tab to do. And anyway, this is about Niihau, the Forbidden Island of Hawaii. So there's 8 main islands, and they're all on the windward side, which means they're wetter and not as arid as other islands on the leeward side of the chain of islands. And Niihau is on the very edge. So it's a little bit arid. Sometimes it can have droughts, but it has been populated for a while. And before Hawaii was unified, so in 1795, King Kamehameha I successfully unified all the islands into one big kingdom of Hawaii. Have you ever played any of the Civilization games?
I just played Civ 6 like in November because it was on sale for like $4 on Switch. So like I played it like the weekend of Thanksgiving, and then I got like, and then I was like, okay, fine. Which is weird because Switch does these, like they'll do the Spotify like end of year playlists. It'll tell you like how many hours you spent listening to something. So like I played Civ 6 over like a weekend, and somehow I had the most hours playing it compared to everything else, which I thought was really strange. But then I was like, I don't have time for this.
You don't.
I'm a little bit familiar with it. Yes, I played it for a little bit.
So I was first introduced to King Kamehameha on Civ 5. He was one of my favorite civilizations to play because you could get like really early seafaring, science tech and stuff. Anyway,
that's cool.
That's how I know about him.
Yeah.
But so I read about him, and he was...
No, I was going to say, I only was excited to play Civ 6 because Cyrus is in it. And I was like, I could be a Persian character in it. So that's the only reason I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And it was on sale, true to my Persian roots.
Did you? Oh, wow. Cyrus would be proud.
I got a good deal.
I was excited to play Boudica in Civ 5 because she spoke Welsh. But I was like,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Listen, this sounds cheesy, but like representation is actually important. It's like exciting when you get to. So tangent. So there's a new Prince of Persia game coming out. I just saw this the other day on Instagram. That there's translation. So they actually have a Prince of Persia where they're speaking Farsi in like one of these options, which is so cool. I love the Prince of Persia games, and I'm like, it's finally at this iteration where they're actually speaking Farsi, so that's really exciting. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Because you don't see Farsi as I've
never seen it. Yeah, I've never seen it in any game
being a common translated language.
No, certainly not in games.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Anyway.
Yes, continue. Civ 5. Yeah.
Ni'ihau. So I used to like playing Kamehameha in Civ 5 because he was dope. But yeah, he was able to conquer all the islands except for Ni'ihau. So, and Kauai. And so when he finally got a bunch of ships, he was like, fine, I'm going to get everything I have and I'm going to show up. And the two islands were like, yeah, it's kind of a lot of ships. Yeah. So we're going to just join your kingdom.
Yeah, you're kind of like really into this.
You really aren't going to stop. Yeah. But there's a bunch of, so after he conquers all the islands, there's a bunch of like Game of Thrones style marriages and betrayals and drama. And, you know, so that's a really fun tab to go read about.
I was going to say, I love that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to get into it, but man, there's a lot.
Maybe that's a tab for another day.
This was in 1795.
Okay.
Fast forward to the 1860s. This is about 60 years into this island. And this island is inhabited by like maybe like 300 to 500 people. Okay. And this lady named Elizabeth Sinclair shows up. She's a Scottish woman from New Zealand.
Okay.
And straight up buys the island from Kamehameha for $10,000 in pure gold.
Listen,
so she's like,
that's what you got to do. You got to buy in cash so the government doesn't know, so that you don't pay taxes on it. That's how you got to do it.
Well, yeah.
Cash money.
So $10,000 in that time nowadays would be $200,000. So even then,
that's still really cheap. You can't buy like a shack in Los Angeles for less than like $1 million. A Hawaiian island.
I once saw a burnt out building in San Francisco and it was listed for $1.5 million.
I don't doubt it at all. I don't doubt it.
That was like, whoa, it's not even affordable. Cool. As part of the deal, she bought it from him because she was a rancher and her husband had died, lost at sea. So romantic. And she'd inherited a ton of money and just wanted to go ranching and be alone with her family. And Kamehameha was like, I'll sell this to you, but you have to promise me to take care of this island and to maintain it and always put the people first. And she was like,
sure, she did a great job.
Well, here's the thing. She did a great job.
Oh, she did?
She did a great job.
That never happens.
I know. Northern European lady buys a bunch of like native land and takes care of it. Yeah. I mean, it's arguable. There's some things that were like, this is like your little fun project. Anyway, so she buys this and she's like, okay, I promise. And she first went to Vancouver Island in Canada and was like, this place sucks. It's so cold. She
hated Vancouver, yeah.
Vancouver Island have you ever seen them show Alone?
The show Alone? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what that show is. I've also never been to Vancouver, so I have no idea.
Well, this is Vancouver Island. It's its own separate island in Canada, and it's full of bears. And it's
that sounds cool.
It's technically a rainforest, but like a cold one. Anyway, so she was like, yeah. Did you not know
like,
that?
You just hit like 3 things back to back where I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Vancouver also has an island that has the same name. Also, it's a rainforest that's frozen. Yeah. Also, there are bears. Short circuit.
So many bears. Like so many bears. So she was like, I can't ranch here.
It's like the Folsom Street Fair, basically, but just
it's but way less leather. Anyway, so she.
I saw your brain go ADHD.
I don't know how to move on from that. Have you? No. Okay, I gotta get back on track. I'm talking about an island in Hawaii, not the Folsom Street Fair. Okay, so yeah, when she bought the island, there was about 350 native Hawaiians living on it, and a ton of sheep, which was making it great for ranching. And these natives were extremely good at making beautiful, like some of the best sleeping mats in the islands, and these shell necklaces that are extremely rare because the type of beaches on that island and how the waves hit it and everything makes these shells really small and teeny. So they kind of look like little pearls, and they end up looking like these. They're really pretty. They're these leis.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, and they go for thousands of dollars now. So, anyway, so she was this. So, do you know what a Calvinist is? I'm all over the place.
A Calvinist? I know, like Calvin. Is he the? No, he's not the. I just remember Calvin and Hobbes is the philosopher and the religious guy. So it's like yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's the extent of my knowledge of Calvinism.
Same. A branch of Christianity, of Protestantism, is Calvinism, and it's like this strict lifestyle. So Elizabeth was a Calvinist, and she was like, "I don't drink. I don't believe in guns. None of you are going to either." So she forbade alcohol and guns and long hair. Which
she's kind of not, I don't know about her really taking care of the people on this island. She's like, I'm going to take away your ethnic identity is sort of wiped clean.
So that's what I meant. Like, she took care of the island, but it felt a little bit like her. Well, you'll see. So she dies. She goes and dies like 10 years later. And the island just keeps passing down through all of her kids and descendants. And I fully expected like all these European landowners and to exploit it, but they didn't. They've kept this island closed since they bought it. Nobody can go.
Yeah,
I think
if you call it the Forbidden Island, it somehow just makes it, they're like, I don't want to buy real estate there.
Well, no, everyone wants to come. Mick Jagger recently was like, please let me come to this island. And the Robinsons were like, no.
Robinsons are the descendants of, you said her name was Robinson, right? I forgot her name already.
Elizabeth Sinclair, but then throughout the years, they became the Robinsons, which is funny because Robinson Crusoe, islands Crusoe, and stuff.
That's what I was thinking too.
Anyway, in 1915, her descendant Aubrey Robinson stopped anyone from entering the island, even the family of the residents, because he wanted to prevent them from getting polio and all the diseases, and it worked.
Like a quarantine kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. And they just kept it like that. And the visits remained limited through the 50s. And the current owner, Keith Robinson, said, "My uncle wanted to protect the residents here from the epidemic, and it was forbidden to come out here unless you had a doctor's certificate, and there was 2-week quarantine. And it worked. We never got polio." So that's kind of cool, which is when it got the name the Forbidden Isle, because no one was allowed to go. So there's a little bit of an interesting incident that happened there in the 1940s.
Interesting. Okay.
Where a Japanese pilot, it was called the Niihau incident. A Japanese pilot, right after bombing Pearl Harbor, crashed on the island. Mm-hmm. And the residents were like, who's this guy?
Who's this guy? Yeah.
They took him in, took care of him. And then the 2 Japanese residents on the island were like, what's your deal? And he's like, oh, I just bombed the main island. And they're like,
excuse me?
What? You did what? We're going to help you escape now, because they felt bad. It's kind of dicey, but I would love to go into this at some point because this story is incredible.
Yeah.
But he ends up trying to escape and destroy his plane in the process. And then like he gets murdered.
He escape to where? Like to go back to the main island that he just bombed? Like,
yes.
What is he going to swim back to Japan? Like there's no escape.
They were trying to figure out a way to get a boat out there and to get him on it, but it didn't work. Like some of the islanders were like, dude, this guy is definitely guilty of
dead. Yeah.
And so this woman ended up killing him in a fight. So
solve that problem.
No, yeah, she beat his head in. Anyway, oh no, it was insane. It was like the most dramatic thing to happen on Niihau Island ever.
What was the fight about?
Well, he kept trying to just get back to his plane, and the rest of the islanders were like, you guys are helping this guy? Hang on. Now we know about Pearl Harbor, so let's not. And so they get in like a tussle, and he shoots her husband like 3 times, and she just bashes his head in with a rock.
Good for her, .gif.
And then his little, she got no recognition for it though.
Lame.
But her husband got some medals. Her name was Ella Kanahele.
And
anyway.
Ella Kanahele, we gotta like give her a proper shout out. She beat this dude's head in, which is awesome. She avenged her husband's death. This guy bombed Pearl. Oh, he didn't die. He just got shot 3 times. Even better, honestly. She was like, still, I'm into this.
Yeah, so I would love to hold off on some more of this. She's definitely dead. I would love to hold off on this because someday I want to cover it. It'd be really fun because it's very detailed. Anyway, so besides that one big scary incident, not much really happened besides ranching and farming and keeping up this culture of this island. And the Robinsons were like, there is no way anyone's going to take this island from us because we promised that king. And even though governors of Hawaii were like, give me the island, we're going to evict you, we're going to turn it into a national park and then help the natives assimilate, which is
questionable.
Yeah. And so in 1972 is when the brothers Keith and Brian Robinson became the co-owners. And they married native people. They had kids. So it looks like it's probably going to stay in the family a while. And as you can imagine, since there's only now there's only like 70 residents.
Because it's nothing.
It's nothing because
that's
they had
like
a ranch.
Apartment complex, basically.
I know. Well, they had a ranch. The Robinsons had a ranch. And then after a while, they would employ people on the ranch. And then after a while, they weren't making any money from the ranch. And they were just paying these people to work on a ranch that was doing nothing. So they closed the ranch and then all the employment left. So people started leaving the island for work or working at a Navy installation. The U.S. runs military tests and special ops for defense systems right off that island. And so a lot of the natives would be hired there too, and they would act as enemy trackers for drills and things. So I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah. They're like, we need some brown people to shoot at, so you can do this brown people murdering cosplay.
We can't get
visualize
into
it. Yeah.
We can't visualize it if we don't.
Yeah. So horrible.
I mean, it's what we're good at.
That's what we're at. That's what America does.
Can't even say that. But anyway, the crazy thing about this island is that it's still like this. There's no running water. There's no running water.
Oh, okay.
There's no roads. There's no cars. There's no electricity. There is no TV, nothing, no internet. And these people that live there are like, yeah, we're fine with that. Part of the deal of living there is they get free rent from the Robinsons. And all meat is free. There's a lot of big game on the island that they're allowed to hunt. Other than that, their food is brought in weekly. The shipping is free. Relatives can bring the food in. No indoor plumbing, no stores, nothing, just houses. And dirt paths. They use horses and bikes to get around. And rainwater is their only source of water. So they don't have any running water. Something that was really cool that I found was that they speak an almost untouched version of Hawaiian language.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's really important because we can actually kind of hear and see what they would have sounded like when they first made contact with Europeans in the 16 and 1700s. Wow. And so they've been, and this language, it's a Ni'ihau dialect of Hawaiian, and it's required for everyone to learn it in school, in their one school. And it's really interesting because it sounds different than regular Hawaiian, and they think it's because it's been preserved for so long. Yeah. And they also maintain all their old traditions of music and art, and it's kind of cool to see. It's almost like a look into the past a little bit.
Yeah. It's like a time machine to go to the island, basically, almost.
Well, yeah, if you're allowed.
Oh, sure. I just mean if you're able to. So who even knows about this? How did people get the information?
That's the thing. People don't really know about it. And that's even Hawaiians are like, there's an island over there.
This could theoretically be made up. They could just have the most advanced alien technology imaginable, but no one's really been on there to confirm.
Lilo and Stitch. That's the first thing I thought of.
Actually, we have 37 spaceships and we've beaten Elon to Mars 10 years ago.
Dope. All without running water or electricity.
Yeah, without running electricity.
I will say they have added some electricity because it's all solar powered. 100% solar powered.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And the Robinsons are still super stubborn. They're like, no, it's in our family. We're going to protect it till we absolutely can't. And Keith Robinson, one of the co-owners, said, we've had a lot of requests, including people who are about to die. And they have come over, and they have to come over and see the last place on Earth they haven't seen. And we still say no.
Oh, ice cold.
Well, he's like, it's like what they live, Yeah, they say no to everybody. You can do helicopter tours. There's one helicopter that takes people to the hospitals or whatever. But you can do a helicopter tour, but nowhere near the village. And you can snorkel off the coast, but you can't go on the beaches.
What are the consequences? Do they have are there people with guns waiting to shoot you or something if you come too close?
don't know.
Again, that's my American mind assuming that there's violence.
Guns.
Yeah, guns are the solution.
There's still no guns allowed. Like they have. And
but how do they enforce to not have like a bunch of people just show up? Like you said, like the king showed up with just a bunch of ships before, right?
Right. I don't know.
Somebody could just come take it over.
I mean, they're still part of Hawaii. Like they pay taxes and they vote. So
they do. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the other brother, his name is Bruce. And Bruce and Keith. Robinson
Brothers, yeah. The owners of the Hawaiian of a forbidden Hawaiian island. Just on paper, it sounds ridiculous. Yeah.
Insane. I'm Keith Nepo and I live on a forbidden Nepo babies that are, own island and own an island. That's just crazy to me. Like, so Bruce says, we've tried to maintain the request of the king when it was turned over. We maintained the island for the people and continued to work it as he had, which is cool because all the endangered species in Hawaii, now they have a place to go. Like Hawaiian monk seals are extremely endangered, and the beaches of Niihau Island are actually a great place for them to like breed and do their thing. And same with a bunch of plants, because when the Europeans came over, they were like, we're ripping all this up and we're making it into plantations. And so there's all these beautiful native Hawaiian plants.
Why?
Oh, money.
Yeah. You're just like...
Look, if you had to like only live in Northern Europe, just kidding. There's no excuse. It's just so cold. So yeah, they all these Europeans wiped out a bunch of the native plants and animals through all of their industrialization and, the pineapple plantations and the sugar. Anyway, so these monk seals are now protected. They're still endangered, but they can actually have a place to go. And same with a bunch of different birds. Like a lot of birds in Hawaii are very endangered, like, because that's the only place they live, because it's one of those like,
right.
Yeah. And then this made me laugh. Like there's a plant called the olulu. And
okay.
It's also called the Vulcan palm and cabbage on a stick.
Okay. Let's go through these one by one. Why any of these?
I don't know. I tried looking it up and I couldn't figure out why.
Is there like a Vulcan death grip something or other? Is there like the cabbage makes me think it makes you go to the bathroom a lot. There's a lot of fiber in it, maybe.
Does cabbage do that?
I mean, it does to me anyway. Cabbage is good for your digestive tract.
Good to know.
That's why coleslaw is always good with like barbecue, because you're having like meat. So then you have some stuff to help break it down.
Is that why?
I mean, that's my assumption, I guess. I don't know. Okay. I haven't actually read a tab, but I always assumed that that's why it was
open
the case.
One.
Yeah, open one on cabbage and farting and pooing.
Thanks for bringing that home for me. Just perfect end. And so like this whole thing is a little bit odd to me, because while I'm glad that they've kept it safe, there is a little bit of like we're going to keep these natives pristine and like,
we're just keeping them down, just still ruling with an iron fist about what they would like to do to run the island.
And I get the feeling that a lot of them are like, yeah, whatever, I'm fine with that. This is way of life. But like, I don't know.
Is that what they want?
Is it? A lot of them have left because there's literally nothing to do there besides work on the army base and make those necklaces, which is another way they make money.
But you're saying that the government wants to try to make it like a national park or something, you said?
Yeah. And to get everyone off of there. No.
Oh, I see.
The Robinsons will not. They've been offered money. They won't sell it. And their plan is to just keep it like that as long as they can.
It's like one of the last remaining holdouts on the planet of stuff like this. There's like only a couple of islands where this is the case. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And I wonder how long it's going to last. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy to me. I just love that it's called the Forbidden Isle. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Forbidden Isle, and you can't go there. Cool. So
yeah, I guess they can't. What if you were to just jump out of the helicopter with a parachute and just parachute into the island? They'd
probably take care of you like that Japanese pilot.
That's true. I feel like people, there's a way to do. I'm not encouraging people to do this. That's where my mind goes, where it's like, if I'm not allowed to do something, I'm like, how do I do that thing?
You're finding all the different. I didn't even think about that. To me, it's just like, well, I just won't go there. And you're like, how could I jump out of a helicopter?
I want to see this thing.
If you could go, would you?
If I could go, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Same.
If I was allowed to, absolutely. To see something that's like kind of trapped in amber and time and be able to sort of see this old crazy, like, or hear the old language and see whatever custom.
That's what I want to hear.
Like, what do they do all day? Like, I don't know.
What we used to do, remember? Without phones and stuff, we just go outside and stare at stuff.
But there's no TV. Like you said, there's no electricity there's barely electricity or like TV. And I'm like, what do you, I don't know. Do you also, it's like, is there more art that they made? Like, I wonder if there's a bunch of stuff that we've never seen.
Oh.
Because the creative urge is a strong one. It'll happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's no denying it. There's no resisting that urge.
It's what came first.
Right. So I wonder if there's all kinds of crazy stuff there's crazy art that people don't even know about, or like gardens or sculptures or who knows. I kind of feel like that's just my own personal thought is like, I feel like it's like cave paintings or something. You'll just like, we're always doing it. Doesn't matter what.
Well, even looking at photos, there's no photos of the actual inhabitants or village. I thought maybe we could see. Yeah. Anyway.
Make it all up. All right.
Your turn.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was very cool.
I felt like I just big, long run-on sentence, but hopefully it made sense.
It was wonderful. I liked it.
Okay, what do you have for me?
Let me pull up my tab notes. My tab this week is, it's a cheat. Because it was not a tab that I had open. It was actually a listener submission for a tab that they closed.
You just stole it?
I straight up stole it. I was going to do it for the listener submissions. And I was like, wait, what? This is insane. And it's really funny and bizarre. So, I'm just going to have to give a shout out to Nico from Riverside. They submitted this tab and it's funny. So it's an article from the Smithsonian. Yeah, right. I just straight up.
Oh, wait, really quick.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that my article was from allthatisinteresting.com.
Allthatisinteresting.com.
And also the Wikipedia page on NiiHow. Your turn. Go.
Which, of course, we will link in the show notes so you can see all this stuff. So it's an article from the Smithsonian from January 2013 by Franz Lids. Lids like the hat store.
Cool.
And the title of the article is The Little Known Legend of Jesus in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. Well, wait, there's another Japan link between us.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah. This is not.
I was wondering how this was gonna.
It's the Kismet. The ESPN is gonna happen.
Yep, ESPN is happening right now.
Here we go again. So, on the flat top of a steep hill in a distant corner of northern Japan lies the tomb of an itinerant shepherd. In the mountain hamlet of Shingo, he's remembered by the name Daitenku Taro Jurai, but the rest of the world knows him as Jesus Christ.
What's he doing there?
Oh, I'll tell you what he's doing there. So, everybody knows that Jesus died at Golgotha?
I should know.
You should know this. What this story presupposes is maybe he didn't.
That's a bold statement.
It's a bold statement, right? So Shingo is this village. It's on the way northern side of Japan. It's about 400 miles from Tokyo. So it's not like this place that you could just pop into if you're going to Japan to visit. You got to really commit to this. It's way on the northern side. So this legend first appears in Japan in 1936. And there's a family that came from the south, and they discovered among their archives a set of ancient scrolls that were allegedly Christ's last will and testament dictated as he was dying in the village.
What? I don't know what to say. Go on.
According to the nearby Legend of Christ Museum, because there's a museum in this town as well, Archaeologists from an international society for the research of ancient literature discovered the scripture in 1936. That manuscript, along with others, allegedly unearthed by a Shinto priest around the same time, flesh out Christ's further adventures between Judea and Japan and pinpoint Shingo as his final resting place.
So what? He was like resurrected and then he just hopped over to Japan?
Oh, as I love to say, it gets crazier.
Oh.
These came to be known as the Takenouchi documents. I apologize for mispronouncing, but tragically, Hannah, they were lost in World War II. But their memory remains. So there's no literal proof of it, but there's a note that someone took. I figured you'd like this part of it. Jesus was here.
Why do you think anyway,
there was this thing that said what it was, but they don't have that anymore, but you gotta just go off of the but this dude said he totally saw this.
He saw it.
And they kept going with it. Yeah. So many claim that it's a hoax, but we all know that this is the truth. So we're going to go back in time. We're going to go back in time to Jesus. So,
oh my gosh.
Jesus, of course, Son of God, very famous individual. A lot is known about his latter part of his life, but not much is known, of course. What is it? 13 to 29, I think is the age range.
Well, no, he kind of fell off, he showed up again when he was like 31 or 32. But before that, it was like when he was a kid.
No one knows. He was a kid.
No.
Lost years until now.
Oh, that's where he was.
This is it. This is the gospel. So basically the story starts when he's around 21 years old. So roughly the end of college, whatever Jesus was doing, he's finally of drinking age. He finishes college.
Study abroad.
Study abroad. Exactly. So what does he do? He goes to study abroad in Japan. Why does he go? I don't know. Maybe he wants to go teach English there. Maybe he's there to backpack. Maybe he's there to just find himself.
He loves anime.
He loves, and who knows? Yeah. He goes to Japan when he's 21. And he loves it. He hangs out. He has he falls in love maybe with an older woman that teaches him the ways. This is not in the scripture, by the way. I'm just
You're making this up, right?
No. Yes.
Oh, no. I can never tell.
The story alleges that he's what the story does say is that when he's from 21 till about 30, when he shows up again in Jerusalem or whatever, or Judea, sorry. So he's there. He's basically he spends his whole 20s in Japan. He loves it. He learns about Buddhism. He learns the Japanese ways. He basically finds himself up until he's about the age of almost 30. And at that point, he decides, okay, listen, my refusal of the call of my life is donezo. I need to go back and face my life.
Donezo, yeah.
Time to face my past. So he heads back. He loves Japan, though, but it stays with him. It's a very important part of his development and of who he ends up becoming. And just like you said, just like your friend that studied in Europe for a semester, Jesus comes back and will not shut up about Japan. He is insufferable, right? Every time he goes to the restaurant, he's like, do you guys have chopsticks? I don't know about a fork. Because when I lived in Japan, we used chopsticks. Do you guys have chicken?
He's like, get the chopsticks.
Get the chopsticks. Do you guys have tofu? Because I'm not really into this pork, or this is whatever, chicken, pork, meat, whatever it is. In Japan, they do it this. They have better public transit in Japan. Nonstop, won't shut up, drives everybody nuts. And naturally, the Romans decide that they're like, we should probably crucify this guy, right? I think that's how the story goes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
He has some controversial opinions, controversial takes.
Got betrayed. Yeah, all that.
Got betrayed. But because of the Japan stuff, that's specifically why. Because he was just annoying.
Oh, is that what the story says?
Yes. So the story is that they couldn't handle how...
I can't tell if you're kidding.
I don't even know anymore.
Okay. At this point, everything's true. So
everything's true. It was in the script. It was in those documents that got lost in World War II, but we have no choice but to believe them because of faith.
Gotta believe. Faith.
So right. There's the Last Supper. He's betrayed. The Romans come. Everyone decides that they're tired of Jesus and they're going to crucify him because he's causing a ruckus. They're not into it. So, but Jesus, he's a man of belief, right? He believes in what he preaches. He follows through and he says, okay, that's it. If that's my fate, that's what it's going to be. I'm going to die. I'm going to die on this cross. I'm going to get killed. That's okay. I'm not going to try and weasel out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Or so you think, Hannah.
Oh, what?
Plot twist. Did you know that Jesus had a brother?
James.
No.
Oh, sorry.
It's not James. It's a twin
one.
brother named...
No.
His name is Isukiri. This bro, I like to imagine, looks like a clone, like he's his twin brother. But the only way you can tell the difference between Jesus and Isukiri is that Isukiri has a British accent.
And wears like a fake nose.
He wears black and Jesus wears white, so you can tell the two of them apart.
Oh, yeah. He's not.
I would say he has a mustache, so you know that he's different, but he already's got the beard and the long hair, so like that doesn't really work as well. But he's just Jesus with a British accent. May or may not have been separated at birth with a Japanese name.
So this is what this story says, is that...
more or less, yes. May or may not be separated at birth. We don't really know much about Isukiri. But what I can tell you about Isukiri is that he didn't want to live. So
he wanted to die.
Isukiri shows up, his British twin brother, and he's like, Jesus, hello, how you doing there, blood? I'm your brother.
The English are already annoyed we can't know distances. Okay. Okay.
How you doing there, bruv? I'm your brother, Jesus. Listen.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay.
Isukiri is like, my life is miserable. I gotta make dinner every night. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna eat. I gotta wash all the dishes at the end of the night. I gotta do this every night for the rest of my life.
Clean the same messes.
I gotta pay rent forever. Isukiri. More like Isu kill me.
Did you just make that up? Right now? That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Wow.
And he's just like, I can't do it anymore. Thank you. Were you laughing on the inside?
I was laughing on the inside. That's how you know it's real.
And he's like, I can't do it, blood. I can't do it. I'm over it. I don't know where this accent comes from. This is Jesus. It's a magical accent.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me. Also, probably, I'm guessing he owes the mob a bunch of money and they're going to kill him anyway. He's got a gambling problem. Who knows?
This is so off the rails. I don't even know. I don't know where we are supposed to be. Okay,
where Jesus, he's about to get crucified.
Secret twin brother.
Secret twin brother shows up.
His suicidal twin brother shows up and says, kill me instead.
And he says, we're going to parent trap this shit. We're going to switch places. I'm going to take your place. Are you going to be okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
And he
Look
says, it's okay. It's all right. And he says, we're going to parent trap this shit. We're going to switch places. I'm going to be the one to get crucified. Let my life have meaning. You got to get back to Japan because that's all you talk about anyway. And that's where your heart is. Why would you die here? That's pointless. Just let me do this one thing. Let my life not be in vain. At least let me do this one thing for you. And of course, Jesus thinks it over and he's like, it's not really like a good thing for me to do this. And he's kind of committing suicide in a way, but also I don't know where I feel, but it's a gray area, right?
So he's making the very Jesus-like decision to let someone else die instead of him.
In his place. Exactly, yes. But no, he's giving him his wish. That's what he wants.
Okay.
This is what Isukiri wants.
Okay. So he's the real Jesus. Okay.
So Jesus is like, okay, you know what? You're my brother. You're literally an exact replica of me. You're my DNA. I love you. I want you to be happy. And I want to give you this. The only thing I ask is that you give me your ear as a keepsake before I leave.
No.
I don't know why.
Wait, what?
And a lock of Mary's hair. And they're
Creepy.
like, done. Here you go. They just Van Gogh that shit. He just chops his ear off, just gives it to Jesus. And they get a lock of Mary's hair.
She's like, what are you doing?
They're like, I don't know. There's no mention of what any of the Mary stuff is. But for some reason, he's got a lock of her hair and he's got his twin brother's ear. And he packs up a backpack. You know, he fills up his camelback with a bunch of water. He gets a bunch of Cliff Bars, whatever it is. And then they send him on his way. They're like, go. You're free, Jesus. Go back to Japan. So Isukiri is the one who actually gets crucified. He's the one who dies. He's the one who theoretically, I guess, gets resurrected. It doesn't matter. That's not the point.
WWID, you know?
Yeah. That part of the story is besides the point now. That's gone now. We follow Jesus because now Jesus...
So Isukiri died for my sins.
Isukiri died for your sins, yes.
Okay. I'm following.
Jesus takes this long, long hike. So he goes all the way back to Japan. It's about 6,000 miles. He goes through Siberia. This whole thing takes him about 4-ish years. And eventually, from Siberia, he hops on a boat, which lands in a village called Hachinohe. Again, I apologize. Which is just a stone's throw from Shingo. He shows up in Shingo, and he's like, okay, this is a nice place. And he's tired, you know? He's like 37, 38 years old by this point. He just traveled 6,000 miles. His back hurts. He's developed a lactose intolerance. Middle age is just staring him squarely in the eye. And he's tired. He can't go out to the club anymore. He's not about that life. He doesn't want to do it. But thankfully, he is shredded from this 4-year hike. He's in great physical shape. He looks
absolutely ripped.
Ripped, shredded. Like in Rambo 2. He just looks awesome. So he's like,
or like
listen.
in any Catholic depiction of him where he's just got
exactly. Well, he's more like emaciated, I feel like, in those. But this is true. Like, he's got that, like, you know, hiking across all of the continent of Asia body.
Lean,
muscular, looking good. So he's like, listen, I'm not getting any younger. I'm almost 40. I'm in the best shape I'll probably ever be for the rest of my life. It's time for me to settle down and to find a nice lady. And what does he do? He marries a Japanese woman named Yumiko. They get married. They fall in love and they get married. And they have 3 daughters. 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good for Jesus.
Good for Jesus. He finds a second life. He has this whole other existence in Japan in Shingo. And, you know, he's happy. He tends to a little plot of land, which might have been a garlic farm, is sort of what the theory is.
Interesting.
Yeah, he fills his time with different projects. Maybe he tried inventing garlic bread at some point, but, you know, he couldn't quite get the recipe exact. So, and the world might not have been ready for it to come out of Japan.
You'd think he could have, because he's good at turning things into food and bread.
Here's the thing. Yeah,
loaves.
about that. Yeah. So he's there. And he's literally Jesus Christ. He's the Son of God. He's capable of doing all these miracles. So all the locals are like, hey, bro, can you just like turn this water into wine? Or can you walk on? The kids would love to see you walk on water just once, just for fun. But Jesus is like, nah, bro, those days are behind me. I don't do miracles anymore.
That doesn't make sense. Dude,
retires.
If I were one of those parents, I'd be like, I can't play with you right now. Go up the hill to the magical Middle Eastern man who can walk on water and let him entertain you.
No, he's done.
He won't do it.
He's retired. He retired out of public life. He's like, listen, I moved to Shingo to get, it's like, you know, when Hollywood celebrities go buy a ranch in Montana or whatever, because they want to get away from the paparazzi. That's basically what he does.
Hayden Christensen in Canada. Yeah. He has a whole farm. Good
exactly. I think Post Malone's got a farm in Utah, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He lives in Park City.
Yeah. So he does the Post Malone. He's just like, it's okay. I don't need to be the center of attention anymore. I just want to tend to my garlic farm. I want to live my days out as a father of 3 beautiful daughters. And I don't know, whatever, smoke brisket now or whatever, make IPAs, whatever people in that age do.
Mm-hmm.
So he lives this great life. He's lucky because after all, he is the Son of God. So he has this wonderful life. He gets to watch his daughters grow up and they have families of their own. Guess how long he lives for?
100 years.
106.
No.
That's right. Jesus Christ lives to the age of 106. Dies
as a
peacefully.
Japanese garlic farmer
Who, was just one of the boys. He didn't go around performing miracles. Just wanted to be a regular dude. Charmed life. It's incredible. And obviously, like I said, he has 3 daughters. So there are still some of his descendants that are alive in Shingo today.
Mm-hmm.
Funniest part about all this, and there's descendants that are there today. There's a couple. I think there's like one family that claims that they're part of this lineage. Guess what? They're not.
What?
Christian.
Duh. Wait. Because he gave up. He gave it up.
They're not even Christian. But imagine being like, Jesus was my great grandfather, and being like, yeah, but I'm not really into the whole Jesus thing.
Christ thing.
Yeah. They're Buddhists, which, of course, whatever, Shinto Buddhists, all that. That's the majority. There's not a lot of Christians in Japan.
No.
But yeah, they're not even Christian, which I think is really funny. I don't
know what to say. There's
okay.
more?
There's more. So in ancient times, so again, this is all very sort of like, we don't know how much of this is propaganda that's been sort of perpetrated by the town. I shouldn't say propaganda. I don't mean that in like the real way. I just mean it as like a joke, like
stories,
like the stories that make it sound more fun. Because I'm all in at this point. I think this is great. So it's said that Shingo, the village, maintained kind of different traditions from the rest of Japan. Like the men wore clothes that looked sort of like the toga robes of biblical Palestine, and that women wore veils. And like when they had babies, they weren't like pushing them around in like fancy strollers. They put them in like woven baskets, like in the Holy Land. And newborns were swaddled in clothes embroidered with a design that looked kind of like the Star of David. And up until not too long ago, apparently the Star of David were marked on their foreheads with charcoal. So basically, the town was like Jesus LARPing for a long time.
And just drawing a pretty common shape to triangles. Yeah.
So but none of them, it wasn't about Christianity. It was about like this dude Jesus that used to live here that was really famous apparently, and this was his tradition. So we just keep it going. A fun fact that they kept it going. So
what?
Now, still apparently every year about 20,000 people show up and visit Shingo. Yes.
We gotta go.
I kind of want to go. You can purchase a trove of religious relics from the museum gift shop, like Jesus coasters or coffee mugs. Some participate in the Springtime Christ Festival, which is a mashup of multi-denominational rites in which kimono-clad women dance around the twin graves. Oh, the twin graves. I forgot to tell you about this. So the reason why cutting off the ear of Isukiri and Mary's lock of hair are there is because, as was the tradition, he died on a hill. I'm sorry, the tradition was not that. The tradition was he died on this hill in Shingo. The tradition was to sort of just let him pass and like let it become bones or whatever. So then they turned that into the grave. So there's 2 gravestones or 2 grave piles. One is Jesus and the other is the ear and the lock of hair.
Well,
so Isukiri technically a part of him. You always want to be buried in every episode.
I like, listen, you're right. Yeah. I'm like his twin brother. Just like, take
Isukiri.
me.
Yeah. So part of him and part of Mary are also buried there. And they chant a 3-line litany in an unknown language. So it's sort of like this derivative thing that they don't quite know what it is. They're like, it sort of sounds like something that it might have been at the time, but apparently it's just evolved. Kind of like you said, like, again, very funny. Not intentional, just now realizing this. Also another thing that is trapped. What the hell? This is really weird that this keeps happening. It's just like your village where it's like this thing that continues to exist and it's been held on to.
It's like trapped in time. Weird.
Very strange.
Weird we keep doing that.
I swear to God, we did not plan this.
We don't plan these.
We don't plan this. I don't know why this happened again. ESPN. Anyway, so the theory is, so some people have tried to like debunk it because they're not fun at all. Because they suck and they're not invited to our cool dinner parties. But, Jesuit priests tried to come in, I think like around the 1700s. They were trying to bring Christianity into Japan.
The Japanese did not.
They did not
let them do that.
They were not fans of that.
No.
I'm assuming the answer is going to be no because it's about seeing a movie, but did you ever see the movie Silence, the Scorsese movie?
No.
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 It's not everyone's favorite Scorsese movie. I actually really liked it. It's not for everybody. It's a slow burn. It's not like you're not watching like Wolf of Wall Street in Japan in the 1700s or anything like that. It's like this meditation. It's not like nothing crazy like and wild like that happens, but it's sort of about, this is what I learned about this whole thing about like the priests going to Japan initially, but like Andrew Garfield plays the main Jesuit priest who goes because I forget everyone's characters' names, but like Liam Neeson was like the cool priest that everybody like looked up to, and he went to Japan and he sort of got captured and never came back, and people were so they send Andrew Garfield as like the dude to like bring him back. They're like, we don't know what happened to him. You need to go find him and return him. And the whole thing is, which apparently was what happened was at one point they realized that if they kill the priest, the Japanese, whatever, statesmen and stuff, because they really don't want Christianity spreading, because they realize that like it's going to subvert the authority of their government. So
they were always very closed.
They're also very closed.
Recently.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was like by 1850s, 60s is when the Meiji dynasty switched it all over and opened it up. But anyway, so they don't want Christianity coming in, and at one point they started killing people and priests and stuff. So what this movie shows is, what the movie Silence shows is, they realize like that's not as effective, because these priests are like, well, of course I'm willing to die for my love of Christ, and you're just turning them into martyrs. Yeah. They're like, this is great. Yeah, this is what we were born to do. So they very smartly realize that like, okay, they're not going to stop. So what they start doing is they start like, they give them the opportunity to is the apostatize is the term I always forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. To apostatize in front of all their believers or their followers, so that they realize that Christianity is whatever. And then that doesn't work because they don't do it. So this whole movie is about how he like refuses to do this. Andrew Garfield does. Whoa. And then they start sort of like killing the Japanese followers of Christianity as a way to punish him, because they're just trying to be like, you need to it's brutal. It's crazy. But I sort of think it has this very interesting theme. I'm going off on like a sort of side point about it, but like the theme of it's really interesting. I think it's actually kind of a weirdly beautiful love letter to his love of God, which I personally am like not religious, but I was like, okay, I'm actually interested in I thought it was a really interesting kind of moral in the ending. Anyway, I'm rambling, but that's what I learned about. So the theory is that at some point this might have gotten mixed up like 200-300 years ago, and then maybe it was like a Jesuit priest that was trying to escape from all these different Japanese authorities that were hunting them down and trying to like get them to apostatize and or get killed, and they ended up just coming into this village in Shingo, and they didn't quite understand what the deal was, and like they were like, well, maybe they couldn't tell if he was maybe talking about Jesus, but they thought he was Jesus, and
that would make sense.
That's one of the theories, but of course he can't prove any of this. But for my money, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, none of it does.
I don't think it matters if that's the case or not, because the reason I thought this was so interesting was because, I did this book last year. So for listeners who don't know, I wrote and illustrated this book called Mothman's Compendium of Southern California Cryptids, where like I did this cartoon book. Yeah, you should buy it. It's not necessarily just a plug for the book, although you should totally buy it.
No, it is a good book though. Yeah.
But the space that I was in while I was writing that book was, I wanted to make, so the story of the book is like Mothman comes to Southern California and he tries to find other cryptids in different neighborhoods within LA and Southern California. And it was just an excuse for me to like write these fun stories about each neighborhood and like some creature or some fake lore that could exist in like Silver Lake or like in San Diego or like in Venice Beach. And the part of it that I was like excited to do is I thought that it's fun that like, even if something isn't really real in a neighborhood or in an area, it sort of gives people this thing to rally around.
Oh yeah,
and
it's an identity. It gives
them this identity. Yeah, exactly. It gives them an identity. And some people have like whatever sports teams, that they rally behind. But like to me, when I was reading this, I was like, this is sounding insane, but like this is no different than like the Mothman being in West Virginia, right. And then there's like a festival. So Jesus is a cryptid now, according to me, like based on the research of the story. Japanese Jesus is a cryptid.
Is a cryptid.
Yeah.
That's the title of the episode.
Japanese Jesus classifies as a cryptid.
Oh, wow. Okay. I never actually thought about that. That's really cool though. Like the idea that people can like have an identity, not just around like a national identity, but like almost like a mascot, you know?
Yeah, like a city identity or like a town identity or like, you know, whatever. I think we all need these like fun things to sort of like latch onto, and whether or not it's real is sort of besides the point. I think it's just kind of awesome that there's this one town they just yes-anded this for like hundreds of years, potentially thousands. Yeah.
Dude, I love this story. I want to watch a movie of it.
Yeah, me too. It's crazy. Listen, people who are listening to this, you should all sign up for the sponsor links and get us a lot of money so we can go to Shingo.
Please,
we want to go see it.
And I'll stop on that island on the way.
I remember going to Japan in 2019, and it was just so wonderful.
Well, you've been to Japan?
I have been to Japan. Yeah, I went in 2019. It was awesome. I'm going to be like Jesus when he comes back. Yeah.
You're bearded.
I can do that. I'll blend right in. I am Middle Eastern too, so I could be part of it.
You could pass.
I could pass. Not with my hair currently. I'd have to grow it out and thicken it. I'd have to get some hymns or some whatever to thicken it up.
Hair plugs? No, it's not that bad.
Oh, it is.
Like Tobias. I just pictured you with blood. Which is
I'm
also
like
Jesus.
In a wheelchair. That's true.
The bleeding from your head. Yeah, no. You're him.
Perfect. Anyway, so that's my tab.
Wow. I feel like I was taken on just this insane ride of I'm a little bit like shell shocked by that.
Isukere, kill me.
I'm gonna start saying WWID. What would Isukere do?
I just want to see the Parent Trap remake, but like with Lindsay Lohan playing both roles. Of Jesus and Isukiri, because she gets to do the British accent and she gets to do regular Jesus.
She'd do great. I know it.
I love it. Oh, Sarah loves that Parent Trap.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so
funny.
good.
Yeah.
It's better than, I mean, maybe this is unpopular, but I like
Haley
it better
Mills?
than the original.
Uh-oh. Don't say stuff we can't take back, Hannah.
Oh, I won't ever take that back.
Everything is good in its own way. We love them all. We love the Parent Trap.
Sure, yep.
Anyway.
Wow,
so
that was amazing. Thank you for telling me about that.
All right, so now bust out your phone.
Actually, I went ahead and put it in the show notes this time. Oh, no, we're going to close the tabs. That's right. I thought we were doing listener mail. Okay, hold on. Okay, bust out my phone.
Yes, and
Where
also...
did you
go? Where did I go?
There we go. Okay. Gotta make sure there's proof.
Yes. And once again, thank you to Nico from Riverside for that submission. And sorry I stole the tab, but it was legitimately like hilarious and insane.
That was incredible.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You want to do the countdown this time?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, close it.
What sound effect are we going to have for that? Isukiri.
No,
not a crucifixion sound. That's probably not a good sound for this.
A plane crash?
A helicopter? A bombing of some sort? I don't know.
Or just a toilet flush.
Toilet flush is always my go-to. That's the one I like the most.
Okay, toilet flush.
Anyway, okay, so now we move on to our listener emails, which I technically just did a very long one, but yes.
Yeah, you did. Cheater.
Cheater.
Yeah, so I'll go first. And mine is from somebody named Josie. Do you remember how we asked?
Those are the only people that submit tabs are Josies.
In episode 1, we both had a Josie write in, and we asked for more Josies. So she answered the call, and she says, "Hi, I don't have any interesting open tabs that I want to close. I could consider the Halibut crochet pattern that's free from the National Park Service, but in order to close it, I'd have to bookmark it, which feels like cheating." I started writing this email before the end of the podcast, and midway, you put out your call for Josie's, so I was being proactive. It's very weird. It's very weird to hear my name spoken, as I've only ever met 2 other Josies, which is crazy because I know several. And I laughed out loud when you both had friends named Josie. If it's more common than I think, I'll have to gatekeep it and look down on those of us who are only Josie by nickname. Anyway, I really enjoyed the first episode. Fun fact, Al Capone partially got interested in the milk industry because of the amount of corruption resulting in unsafe milk that was leading to malnutrition and illness in children. So he was worried about the kids.
Yeah, that's what I read some of that too. I couldn't confirm that fact when I was doing research for that, but because some people were like, again, you don't know. They were like, you don't know if this is just a thing that he made up to like sound better. But there was this big story where it was like he had some like niece or nephew that got sick from drinking messed up milk, and he was just like, oh, I'm taking on the entire. I'm just doing the wrong voice again, but you know,
you're doing the Japanese Jesus voice.
Isukiri. I actually did read about this, which is really crazy. We can't confirm necessarily that might have been but again, I think it's a fun story. And also, just because you're a rampant murderer, violent mobster doesn't mean you can't have a heart for kids.
You know what? Hitler had dogs. Okay.
Exactly.
I'm looking forward to more tabs. If I ever have any relevant non-Josie info, I'll email again. From yet another Josie. P.S. Here's the crochet pattern, just in case anyone that's interested.
Love it.
So the crochet pattern is funny because it's a halibut, but it looks like a whale. So it goes really well with, Anyway, thanks, Josie.
We're going to post that in the show notes. If any of our fans are really good at crocheting, you should go ahead and crochet that.
Yeah.
And maybe send it to Hannah. Hannah loves a good crochet. I would love it too.
Don't know how to crochet.
A scarf, a crocheted scarf of a whale would be, I would wear that.
I know you would. You're like obsessed with scarves, right?
Yeah. I'm not wearing one today though, because it's a bit warm, but you know, as soon as the temperature drops like under 75 degrees, I'll make sure to put one back on.
Somebody make him a fish scarf or a whale shark.
From
whale
the
scarf?
national parks. Whale shark.
Whale scarf. Where shark? Whale tarp. Your turn.
Okay. So this tab comes from Taylor in New York. And Taylor writes, I'm giving you a way to, I need to change this window. I'm sorry. Sorry. Alyssa, sorry, go ahead and cut all that. I forgot to resize the windows so I couldn't actually see shit. Okay. So the next listener tab comes from Taylor in New York. And Taylor writes, hi, Kaveh and Hannah. I have an open tab story for you, but it's not mine. Much like mine was today. I have
liars. Two cheaters.
I have a very dear friend named Eleanor with whom I play D&D every other weekend, which of course is Dungeons and Dragons.
Solid friend.
She is one of the 500 open tabs havers, which can sometimes make it difficult to load up the online platform we use to play D&D remotely. Almost every time we play, there will inevitably be a point where she says, guys, sorry, give me a sec. Roll20 isn't loading again. To which all of us in the group will respond with some variant on the phrase, maybe it's time to close Eternal Riverdale, Eleanor.
What's Eternal Riverdale?
As the name implies, Eleanor keeps a tab open on her laptop at all times of the Netflix page for the show Riverdale.
Have you ever seen Riverdale?
I've never seen it.
Oh.
It's just Archie as like a teen show or something, right?
Oh, no. That's what it looks like on the outside. But once you get into it, it is.
But I mean, that's the source material. Yeah. Okay.
It's like a dark crime version of Archie. Oh. But then it goes off the rails. And every episode, you're like, who signed off on this? What is this? Cults, aliens, time travel.
Oh, that sounds awesome. She goes on to say, like literally just the page on Netflix where you pick which episode you want to watch, or sometimes a paused episode depending on when you catch her. When we found this out about her, the rest of us in the D&D group absolutely lost our minds laughing, and a year on, we refused to let her live it down. But Eleanor won't hear any criticism. Quote, it's important, she says. When we ask why it's important, she says, in case I want to watch Riverdale. Yeah, duh. I don't know anything about the show myself, but I have heard it's nuts, and Eleanor thinks it's the pinnacle of capital C cinema.
It kind of is, because they're self-aware. Right. They're self-aware, the writers of the show. Oh, it's insane. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll keep that tab open. I know this isn't exactly what you guys asked listeners to submit, but she is one of the funniest people I know and felt like you guys would get a kick out of the tale of Eternal Riverdale. And as far as I know, she still has Eternal Riverdale open on her web browser. I hope it stays there forever. All the best, Taylor. Thank you, Taylor. And Eleanor, we salute you. We salute your forever open tab of Riverdale. Don't let anyone get you down. Don't let anyone talk shit. Don't let anyone make you feel bad.
especially all your friends. Don't let them tell you to close it.
I mean, that's love, though. If your friends bust your balls, that's a real friend to me.
But
that's super cool.
Watching Riverdale. I fell off in like season 4 because I was like, I don't know if I can handle this anymore.
How long does it go? Is there like 30 seasons of it now or something?
No, it just ended actually. And
okay.
From what I've heard, it somehow got crazier. Like, I just wish you had I wish you'd seen one episode so you could know how crazy I'm talking about. Like,
okay.
Anyway, I'll make you watch one and you're going to hate it. Okay.
We'll watch one at some point. Yes. And of course, thank you guys for your submissions. If you are interested in having your open tab that you have closed because we've inspired you to do so appear on the show, either as a listener email or because one of us will steal it, make it our own, please go ahead and email us at 500opentabs@gmail.com. That's 500 as in 500. So 500opentabs@gmail.com. Let us know like a brief, couple sentence paragraph, what you learned or a quick anecdote or something funny from it. Let us know where you're from. We like knowing where everybody's from.
Yeah,
that's fun to hear.
It's fun.
And of course, most importantly, include the link.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And Kaveh, I will say that last time you were like, Hannah always insists we say 500, 500. Mm-hmm. And I want to say, when I told my mom where to look for it, she said, do I spell out 500 or do I put the 500? And I was like, validated.
You're validated. I validated you. I said it in the show. I've changed it forever. I've adjusted my behavior based on feedback from others, because that's what a real man does. Collaborator does. Also, we started a Discord, which we need to, the problem is the links expire like once a week, but we'll just get better about like posting, the link. But based on this listener email episode, I'm going to go ahead and start a specific channel within our Discord that's just for Josies. So all the Josies that listen to the podcast, you guys can all meet each other there. Yeah.
All 3 of them.
But yes, of course, we're across social media. We're at 500 Open Tabs on Twitter, at 500 Open Tabs on Instagram. As I mentioned, we're also on Discord that we're going to try and do as best a job as we can to engage. I think part of this idea is to try and consolidate all of our fans into like a more streamlined area where people can talk and share their tabs, share like fun stories, share memes. I think it'd be really fun to sort of have that be more of a thing. Yeah.
So please, if you're into Discord, hop on there. We'll put the link in our something,
Yeah, link in bio. I guess we'll have to update it a bunch, but
yeah. And we're also on YouTube if you want to watch like videos of our the recording. There's shorts on there. There's videos. There's full episodes. It's great.
Yeah, the whole
500 Open Tabs. Yep.
YouTube. 500 Open Tabs on YouTube. Of course, we also have our own social media accounts. Mm-hmm. I am at Covetarian on Twitter. And at Permafriends on Instagram.
I'm Hannah Hillam on everything.
On all of it. If you get a chance, please follow the sponsor links. That will help us get to Shingo so we can see Jesus' tomb.
Pilgrimage,
exactly. Follow sponsor links. Please rate the show. Please tell everybody about it. As we said in our trailer, tell your friends, tell your therapist, tell your enemies, tell people on the street.
Psychic. Yeah.
Tell your psychic.
Grab people, shake them, and say, you gotta listen to this. Get arrested for it.
Get arrested. Tell everybody in prison. Become popular. Tell the cops.
Mm-hmm. Tell the judge.
Tell the judge. Yeah. They're like, do you have anything to say for yourself? Your Honor, I just want to tell you about this one. Yeah. Before you get executed, that should be your last words.
Your last words. Yeah. 500 Open Tabs. Whether they pull the switch or whatever they do now.
Yeah. 500 open tabs. Get electrocuted.
Or fire. Don't they do firing squad? Oh no, I think they stopped the firing squad.
I think in certain places they might still. I don't know. Again,
I think Utah has a firing squad still. So go to Utah, get arrested, get executed, and tell everyone to go listen to this podcast.
Unhinged. Also, one more thing. We are going to be at Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle at the end of February. What are the...
February 29th through March 3rd. So it's right at the end there.
It's a long way. It's like a good 4-day convention. So if you're in the Seattle area, we're going to be sharing a table. Come see us. Come get books. Come get drawings.
Seattle
come get a cat
Convention
portrait.
Center. I'll draw your cats.
And
you can only get those. You can only get those in person. So it's a good opportunity if you want one.
people lose their minds over these cat portraits. They're extremely popular.
It's
love
weird.
them. They're fun. They're fantastic.
Like, oh, thank you. But I've been drawing cats since I was like 3. So I'm like, whatever, here.
Listen, people who have not been drawing cats since 3 are amazed by it. Like me, I didn't draw cats ever. I do have one of mine as well. I have I've got one of my wife. I call her my wife's cat because she's not my cat, but I have one of Zola.
You live with this cat.
It's not mine. I'm a roommate with this cat.
Zola is a sweetheart. I like her.
Zola is funny. But yes, I have one of Zola. These cat portraits are great, though. You should come get one because you can only get them at the conventions.
Yep. I don't do them any other time because carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel. Also, you can come get a Mothman book that I got.
Yeah,
that I was talking
these
about
books are great, you guys.
Yeah.
Now it's my turn to plug your thing.
And that's really all we have time for today.
He's really good at it, Mothman. He thinks he's not, but he is. Okay.
Please, books. Yes.
Books. Okay.
Thank you for listening. Thank you, of course, to our editor, Alyssa. Thank you for cutting this together and making us sound cool. And yet again, we do not have an exit other than we got the front part of it down. Now we just say our names. And then we say we're the hosts.
Oh, yeah.
This will take a little while.
Okay, so let's figure out what we're going to say.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, WWID. Ishikari, what's his name?
Isu, kill me.